What you're about to watch is a demonstration of how Hollywood, film producers, and the US government are preparing the world for UFO disclosure. This video is a composition of past and present movie trailers to some of the most influential movies starting as far back as 1953 with It Came from Outer Space, only 6 years after the famous Roswell UFO crash happened. Let's see here. Supposedly there was a UFO crash at Roswell, where there may have been extraterrestrial occupants that survived and were brought to a nearby military base and kept as prisoners. While the movie doesn't follow what happened in the actual report of the Roswell crash exactly, you have to understand that while UFO disclosure is imminent, it will not happen all at once. It will be gradual occurrences which start to happen in larger magnitudes until nobody can ignore the obvious, that we are not alone. Also, Hollywood has to make money, so a fabricated story is wrapped around the truth and then sold to you for a price. Welcome to the system. One of the most dramatic cases in the USO files occurred on the night of 26th of July 1980. The tugboat Kiowa Seahorse was on a routine journey 60 miles, 95 kilometers, from the Brazilian coast, when the first mate suddenly became aware of a gray object 30 feet, 10 meters, in diameter floating on the surface straight ahead. At the same time, a bright light could be seen over the sea, rapidly approaching them. The first mate quickly changed direction to avoid a collision with the floating object, which then displayed various colored lights, yellow, red, green, and blue. The bright light had now reached them and could be seen as a glowing oval craft hovering silently above the floating USO. The tugboat's engines had stopped and the crew watched with fear and fascination as the UFO slowly descended onto the floating USO. A link-up took place, the USO lights went out, and the two bodies, now joined, rose up together. After hovering for some minutes in the area, the UFO with its load swept rapidly out to sea. This event naturally prompted a high-level investigation by naval authorities, and much speculation from Brazil's civilian neurologists. Did the tugboat crew witness a rescue operation of one UFO by another? Or was it merely a routine pickup at a pre-arranged locality? No firm conclusions were reached, but whatever the authorities found out, they stuck with it. UFOs have been seen throughout history, as far back as the dawn of mankind. But it's only been recently that humans have made recordings of these experiences on a grander scale. The first movies showing contact with alien beings, whether it was benevolent or an alien invasion, began around 1953, with such movies as Abbott and Costello Go to Mars, Cat Women of the Moon, Invaders from Mars, Robot Monster, The War of the Worlds, and of course, It Came from Mars. Be assured there's been plenty of extraterrestrial encounter movies released since 1953, 6 years after the famous Roswell crash.
Since their arrival, there's been no contact with any of the 29 ships now hovering over the major cities of the world.
My name is Anna. Don't be frightened. We mean no harm.
The newly opened visitor healing centers are drawing huge crowds.
These heal me.
It's amazing.
Standing by to go to air. Don't ask any questions that would portray us negatively.
Afraid I don't have a choice.
This interview is now canceled.
The visitors didn't just get here. They've been here for years.
They've been printing fake docs, passports, IDs, best fakes I've ever seen.
Once embedded among us, they set out to cause worldwide instability.
C4.
They've been implementing a plan that will result in
The ever-increasing mentality pushed upon us from the media and Hollywood is that ETs are unpredictable, highly intelligent, and that we really don't know what to expect if ever there was contact made. An advanced civilization with hundreds of thousands of years' worth of technological advancements would have little to no trouble stamping out our comparatively primitive race. Prometheus, 2012, is a science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott. It is set in the late 21st century and centers on the crew of the spaceship Prometheus as it follows the star map discovered among the artifacts of several ancient Earth cultures. Seeking the origins of humanity, the crew arrives on a distant world and discovers a threat that could cause the extinction of the human species. The exploration of Mars has been a goal of national space programs for decades. Preliminary work for missions that would involve human explorers has been undertaken since the 1950s, with planned missions typically being cited as taking place 10 to 30 years in the future when they are drafted. The list of manned Mars mission plans in the 20th century shows the various mission proposals that have been put forth by multiple organizations and space agencies in this field of space exploration. With the past and present phenomena of UFOs, it's not surprising we're seeing more and more attention brought to the UFO disclosure table. It'll take time and effort as the government does not directly want to tell you anything concerning these extraterrestrials, since it would lead to both amazing and horrifying things that maybe the majority of the people of Earth still are not ready to accept, such as zero-point energy, time travel, dimensional travel, or even immortality, which extends the thought of the afterlife, and whether God exists. Humans still cling to religion, which has only divided us. Most close encounters of the fifth kind report that the aliens do not fear death and tend to think of it as merely a transition, or that the body is nothing more than a vessel, which would indicate a more spiritual existence. Once again, with beings far past our knowledge and intelligence of the universe around us, there's really no telling what's out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue the discussion in the comments section below. Until next time.